Now for the food handler screen for Frank, it looks very similar to the admin screen, except it just has arrows here and it doesn't have the on-off buttons. So when the food handler comes to the screen, they tap on receival if they're accepting food into the business. Now because we've already put in our suppliers and the food they supply, what the food handler has to do is they just tap on the food. So if I want to go to EWH and the food that they supply, now I've got down here the food that we put in for EWH. So if I put in fresh meat, press done. Now the condition of that meat, I'm going to press select on that. I'm going to say that's okay. I press done. For the temperature of this, in the system we put in before between 1 and 5 degrees. So if I put in 4 degrees and press return, that's also now in the system. And also on the fresh meat, I said I wanted to have a best before date. So I press on the best before date and I put in whatever the best before date is for that meat. And I press done and then I submit. And when I press submit, you'll notice that what I've inputted will disappear, because that's now gone to cloud storage, and that will be available for admin to see when they log into their site. So for receival, that's what happens. For storage, the food handler can go and check the fridges and freezers in the morning. So if they're checking the freezers and they want to check freezers, they can go to freezer 1 or freezer 2, whichever one they like. They press done. The temperature, now we put in a temperature of -30 to +10. So if I put in, -30 to -10. So if I put in -15 and press return, and the time is automatically put in by the system, and I'm just going to submit that. And again, that's gone. For the fridge, I can do the same thing. I'm going to do fridge 2 this time. And for the fridges, we put in 1 to 5 degrees. So I'm going to say this fridge is 3 degrees, and the time is also good. I'm going to submit. So that goes in as well. So that's for receival storage. Defrost is there as well. Preparation, if they want to add a new item that they need to do for preparation, they press add item, and this comes up with the items that the admin has already put in, and only those items. Okay, so I've put in sandwiches. The start time, now you can put in times that you like, so I'm going to put this in at 2 hours before. Time into cold storage, say that was an hour, so that took me an hour to make that sandwich. Time out of cold store, and then time served will be another hour, and I press submit, and then that goes as well. And you can do that with salads and sandwiches however many times you need. For the cooking, for the food handler, so again, add new item, and these are the items that have been inputted by admin. So if I want to cook a chicken curry, it's chicken curry. You'll notice it says chicken curry 1. I'm going to select the time that I cook this, and I'm going to leave it as this time. And I'm going to put the temperature, and I had the minimum temperature is 75 degrees. So if I said 80 degrees for this and press submit, actually what we'll do, we'll add a new one. Now say I want to put in a casserole. So I'll have casserole 1, again I'll select the time, and this one I'll make 90 degrees. Press submit, and that's gone as well. Now for the cooling, with the way Frank works is, allow that one. Okay, so the way Frank works is it will only have on the cooling the food that has been cooked. So you'll see we cooked the curry and we cooked the casserole. So if we want to cool one of these, we'll cool the casserole. And then we have the start temperature for the casserole, and this has to be over 60 degrees. So I'm going to say 67. I'm going to select the time to start. And then a temperature after 2 hours, this has to be 21 degrees or less. So I'm going to say that's 20 degrees. Temperature has to be, time has to be within 2 hours. So let's say that's there. And then after 4 hours, the temperature has to be less than 5 degrees. and then the time after 4 hours. Okay, so we can submit that. So that's now being cooled. When you want to reheat, you'll only have on the system the two items, the casserole and the curry, okay? Because they have been, one has been cooled down. So what we're going to do, we're going to reheat this casserole, and we can select the time that we reheated, and we can select the temperature that we reheated. I'm going to say to 89 degrees, and then we enter this. The next stage on here is hot hold. So again, for hot hold, we've got these two foods here. So we're going to hot hold the casserole. Start temperature over 60, so we'll say 78. Our start time, we'll say 11:56. Finish temperature, we'll say 76. So it's just gone down a couple of degrees, and we'll keep it there for about an hour. That's been hot held. When you serve, you will have the two in here. So the casserole, we're going to serve at 65 degrees. And the next item is only the curry, chicken curry, because the casserole's already been served. So the system remembers what it's cooked, what it's cooled and reheated, and now it's serving. And so we're just going to serve this curry as well, 88 degrees, and we'll just make it that time. And then those go to the system too. And for the wash up function for the food handler, very simple, just the time that you're doing the washing up. Again, the system will come up with a default time as it is now, but you can change that. And the temperature of the dishwasher. We had 82 into our dishwasher, so I'm going to say this is 85, so this should be good, above temperature, and that goes all good. So that's how the food handler will just enter their processes, and that's all they have to worry about really. If you had something that was not correct, so for instance, if we went back to Receival and we had Lion Dairy, so we're going to have dairy coming in from Lion Dairy, with the condition we're going to say is okay. The temperature, now we put in 1 to 5 degrees for this. So if it comes in at 8 degrees, this is too high. Immediately it comes up with a corrective action. And those are the corrective actions that we put in and on the admin panel. So we can have dispose of or return to supplier. Or the food handler can add their own if they like with some free text. I'm going to make it easy for them and just say return to supplier, which is what should happen. So it comes up here, return to supplier, and then that just gets submitted. So that will show on the reports what the food handler did in order to make sure the food was safe in the food business. So those corrective actions for all of those ones that we put in.